I'm reading the comments in the comment section, and you guys are hilarious. We're gonna have this discussion about the NFL 2021 NFL all under 25 teams. So let me first set the table by saying this. So this will be our in case you missed it. So let me set the table. In case you missed it, the NFL posted on its IG page, and they've been doing this a lot lately. They've been doing like best cornerback tandems and best running back tandems and things of that nature. Just, this is the time of year. There's nothing going on. There's no real news. So these are when you come up with these lists. These are the times where you try to spark a conversation, conjure up conversation when there's really nothing to discuss. So these are the times where you get these lists. And that's why we're having this conversation right now. They brought this up on their IG post, and they had a list of their 2021 offensive 25-year under team offensively. And I think the defensive side of the ball is going to be extreme. That's where all the real talent is in this league that's under 25. It's on the defensive side. I can't wait to see that list. And I don't know how they're going to narrow it down to just 11, or in this case, they had 12 guys on the offensive side. They put a flex player in there, which is random as hell. I just think they didn't want to leave out DK Metcalf, so they threw in a random-ass flex. This is not fantasy football. Only 11 guys on the field at once. But in any event, I can't wait to see what they do on the defensive side, because there are so many guys under 25 that it's just going to be hard to leave them off the list, but you're going to have to. You can't put everybody on the list. Anyway, offensively, it's a lot easier to make this list. And the first thing I looked at, being a Washington fan, was I looked at the receivers. They got 3 of them, and none of them are named Terry McLaurin. But this is an under 25 years old list, so it made it a lot easier for them to leave a guy like Terry off. Terry's 25 years old. If you're 25 or older, you can't be on this list. So Terry McLaurin isn't eligible to be on this list. So that's the first thing. So you look at other guys that would be eligible. And so let's go through the list that they gave first, and then I'll give you some alternate options that I thought. I don't necessarily know if I would change it, but they are absolutely in the discussion, and you wouldn't be wrong if you took one of these guys over the guy that they have on the list. So the NFL's 2021 offensive all under 25 team looks like this. Quarterback, Lamar Jackson. Running backs are Jonathan Taylor, going into his second year in the league. The Indianapolis Colts rushed for over 1,000 yards, rushed for over 1,100 yards, and averaged over 5 yards a pop last year for the Colts, did Jonathan Taylor. And running back Josh Jacobs going into his third year. I thought last year was a bit of a step back year. He wasn't as dominant as he was in his rookie season, but he dealt with some injuries last year for the Vegas Raiders. Those are your 2 running backs. Wide receiver, they go with 2 receivers and a flex. So no fullback, first and foremost, and they throw in a random-ass flex. So A.J. Brown, Tennessee Titans wide receiver going into his 3rd season. Justin Jefferson, there are no debates there. The guy burst onto the scene last year, dominated the NFL, put up ridiculous numbers. And then DK Metcalf is the flex wide receiver going into his 3rd year. Was outstanding last season, put up some big-time numbers for the Seahawks. They then go to the tight end position. They have T.J. Hawkinson. Super intelligent T.J. Hawkinson. Detroit Lions, tight end. Mekhi Becton, offensive tackle. No complaints there. Tristan Wirfs on the right side at offensive tackle. No complaints there for the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Guard Mike Onwenu. And other guard, Damian Lewis. Center, Eric McCoy of the New Orleans Saints. So, if we're going off of this concept that they came up with, all under 25 team offensively. You start at the quarterback position, and Lamar Jackson is already an MVP winner. So obviously, you see why they started with him. He's been in the playoffs all 3 years of his career to this point. League MVP 2 seasons ago, or I guess it's 2 seasons now. It wasn't last year, but the year before. You understand why they picked him as their quarterback. But you got Joe Burrow. You got Justin Herbert, who was the offensive rookie of the year last year. And then you got Kyler Murray, who's also under 25 years old. All 3 of those guys. Would you take any of those guys over Lamar Jackson? I know some people that would probably take Justin Herbert after seeing what he did last year, even though it's a small sample size. Same thing with Joe Burrow. Small sample size. I know guys that would take either one of those quarterbacks over Lamar Jackson because they're thinking long-term, can Lamar get better as a passer? You don't have those questions with any of those 3 guys, really Murray included. I'm not a big Kyler Murray guy, even though I understand the talent that is Kyler Murray and what he brings to the table. I still have some questions about Kyler Murray. I do. But Herbert is interesting. Burrow is interesting. Don't know what Burrow's going to look like post-injury, but I'd like to think he'll be just fine. That's an interesting debate to have. Jackson probably still remains your quarterback, though. You go to the running back position. I find this very interesting. The disrespect for Saquon Barkley here is palpable. Yeah, he didn't play really at all last year. He played in 1 game, got hurt the 2nd game of the season, and he was done for the year. He's still better than either one of those 2 running backs, Josh Jacobs or Jonathan Taylor. How could you leave him off the list? If we're just talking about statistics, fine, say that. But if you're talking about best players under the age of 25 at the running back position, are you crazy? Saquon Barkley is better than both of those guys. I don't care which one you pick. Take one off the list and insert Saquon Barkley. Honestly, I'd take Saquon Barkley and Joe Mixon, both who are under 25, over both Jonathan Taylor and Josh Jacobs. Give me both of those dudes before I take either one of those guys. Thank you very much. Both of whom are under the age of 25. Mixon and Barkley. So, again, I think they're doing this based off of statistics. Both of those guys didn't play a ton of games last season, and so they want to reward guys that did play last year. That's cool. But if we're having a true all under 25 discussion for the offensive side of the football, Saquon Barkley and Joe Mixon belong on this list over Jonathan Taylor and Josh Jacobs. No disrespect to either one of those backs. Taylor was excellent in his rookie season, and Josh Jacobs has been really solid in the first 2 years of his career for the Vegas Raiders. Neither one of those guys are better than Saquon Barkley and Joe Mixon. Sorry, not sorry. Now, Mixon, I believe, turns 25 next month. So maybe, just maybe, that's why they left him off the list. I don't care. He's 24 at the time of the list. Joe Mixon belongs on this list. Definitely Saquon Barkley. I digress. We move on to the receiver position. There really aren't any receivers. That's why I said they made it easy on themselves by making it an under 25 list. If they would have said 25 or under, now we got some discussions to have. But by making it an under 25 years old list, there really aren't any other receivers that are better than the 3 they put up here. A.J. Brown with the Titans going into his 3rd season. Justin Jefferson with a smash home run rookie season. And DK Metcalf. So I understand. I get it. Those 3 being your 3 wide receivers. Tight end. Again, not really a lot here to squabble with when you go under 25. There aren't a lot of young up-and-coming tight ends that get you excited. So I get it. You know, I think that's about to change. Obviously, you know, with Kyle Pitts coming into the league. However, TJ Hawkinson right now would be, he's a placeholder essentially. Kyle Pitts is going to knock him out of this group like that. But for now, he's a placeholder. You know, and the same thing could be said with some of these young receivers that just came into the league. You know, we all think that Jamar Chase is going to come in and light it up, reuniting with Joe Burrow. He'll easily take out one of those 3 guys, more likely than not. Probably A.J. Brown, if I had to guess. Maybe DK Metcalf. You want to use him as a flex, so I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, going to the offensive line, I was the biggest Mekhi Becton fan out there. So, and he was dominant when he was healthy last year. No complaints here. Tristan Wirfs was dominant on the right side for the Buccaneers in their run to the Super Bowl. No complaints there. Mike Onwenu, for me, there's no complaints with him or Damian Lewis because, again, there aren't any real guards that, under the age of 24. There might be one or two out there that I overlook. Shoot me. And then center, same thing. Eric McCoy was a guy that I loved coming out of Texas A&M. No complaints out of me. So here's where things get interesting for me. What if we made this a 25 years old or younger list? So anybody the age of 25 or younger. So we essentially extended out by a year. So they made it 24 years old or younger. What if we take the list and we make it 25 years old or younger? How does that change this list, if at all? I think it changes it significantly, which is why I think they did it the way that they did it. Because then the real debate happens if you make this 25. So, for instance, if you make this a 25-year-old list, then Lamar Jackson isn't your quarterback anymore. And it's not up for debate. Your quarterback is now Patrick Mahomes. He's 25 years old. So Mahomes is now your quarterback. That's not up for debate. We don't need to talk about other quarterbacks. It's Patrick Mahomes. That's your quarterback. Running back. I think it gets really interesting. I think they've got the wrong guys on the list already to begin with if we just go 24 years old or younger. But if you add in the 25-year-olds, it gets even more complicated. Because now you have Alvin Kamara, now you have Dalvin Cook, now you got Nick Chubb, now you got Christian McCaffrey. There's no way that Jonathan Taylor and Josh Jacobs are on this list. I don't know if Saquon Barkley and Joe Mixon are even on the list if those four guys are in the discussion. Again, it's all in what your flavor is. What's your preference? All of this is subjective. Like, I'm looking at you guys going in on each other in the comment section, talking about you don't know football, this, that, and third. Everybody has their own opinion. You like big, strong, fast? You like DK Metcalf and you like AJ Brown. You like technical receivers that can get in and out of breaks and snatch the ball out of it. And you like Terry McLaurin. Like, it's all about what your preference is. Just because someone likes one receiver and one type of receiver better than the other doesn't mean that you don't know football. That's just my preference. I like raspberry-filled donuts. You like blueberry krillers. Okay? You like those donuts. I like those kinds of donuts. Doesn't make one donut worse than the other. You just like that donut. That's all it is with these receivers. You like Calvin Johnson. I like Randy Moss, and I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying totally different type of receivers. You like one, I like the other one. Okay, doesn't mean either one of you don't know football. You just have a preference. Anyway, I digress. So you get to the receiver position, and I brought up Terry McLaurin because he's 25 years old. He would be in this discussion if you extend it out by a year. And this is a discussion I had with Washington fans just 2 weeks ago. And we were at odds because I told you if a list like this came out, this is exactly what I was referring to when I told Washington fans, if a list came out of top receivers, I guarantee you that A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf would be on the list ahead of Terry, and guys did not want to hear that. Obviously, you're homers. You're fans of Terry McLaurin, so you think it's disrespect towards your guy. That's not what it is at all. And I told you guys, it's as simple as bigger, stronger, faster. If all things are equal, which they aren't, but if all things are equal, give me the guy that's 6'3", 6'4", 230 over the guy that's 6 feet, 205. There's nothing else to talk about. Give me the bigger, stronger, faster guy. That's why everybody thought DK Metcalf would be good. I didn't think he was going to be good. Didn't think he was a route runner. All this. I was making up all these excuses of why he wouldn't be good, and he's torn the league to shreds. Why? Because he's bigger, stronger, faster. People will always go back to that as their default. Just like Tristan Wirfs. I didn't love Tristan Wirfs. You know what they said? Big, athletic freak. Give me that guy. Don't talk to me about this other guy, which is why I loved Mekhi Becton. I said, give me Mekhi Becton. Oh, he's going to eat his way out of the league. This, that. Give me the big physical freak. This guy's running as fast as somebody that's 290, but he's 370. And he's moving men against their will. He's throwing dudes out of the club. Give me that guy. Give me that guy. I'll take him all day long, all day strong, like a leaf. Same thing with DK Metcalf. Same thing with AJ Brown. They want the bigger, stronger, faster athlete. Give me that guy over the guy that is regular. Now, he may be extraordinary in route running and this, that, and the third and run blocking. Give me the big, physical, strong freak. We'll figure it out later. So I told Washington fans that if a list like this came up, more likely than not, AJ Brown and DK Metcalf would be ahead of Terry McLaurin. Now, I think Terry's a better overall wide receiver than AJ Brown. I do. I don't think that is the case with DK Metcalf, and I've already explained why. Now, you're going to say, DK can't run routes. This, that. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. The job of the offensive coordinator isn't to talk about what a guy can't do. It's to talk about what a guy can do and accentuate that and put him in positions to succeed. They've done that in Seattle, and he's eating, and he's eating good. So I don't know, and another guy that would be on this list, or at least be in the discussion, along with Terry McLaurin, if you extend it out to 25, is Cortland Sutton. Another big physical receiver, not as fast as DK Metcalf or AJ Brown. I think he's kind of similar in speed with AJ Brown, but I think Justin Jefferson is firmly on this list. Don't think he's going anywhere despite extending it out a year. I think the real discussion becomes AJ Brown and then that flex of DK Metcalf. I don't think you touch Metcalf. I think AJ Brown is the guy you take out. That would be the guy for me that I would take out. Now, whether you decide to go Terry McLaurin, Cortland Sutton, or somebody else like that, knock yourself out. I'm a Terry McLaurin guy personally, but I know why people would go with AJ Brown. I understand. I get it. Then you go to tight end. TJ Hawkinson. Obviously, I said this already. He's a placeholder for Kyle Pitts. He won't be on this list. If they do this list next year, I think Hawkinson will still be under the age of 25. He won't be the guy at tight end. All right. Kyle Pitts will only, if he's healthy, he'll only need 1 year to supplant TJ Hawkinson. However, if we extend this thing out for now, just having this discussion now, we extend it out to 25, then you invite 2 more names that I think are very interesting, and I think one of them would supplant TJ Hawkinson. Mike Gesicki of the Miami Dolphins and Mark Andrews of the Baltimore Ravens. To me, either one of those guys are better than TJ Hawkinson. Gesicki may not be the blocker Hawkinson is in the run game, but he's way better as a pass catcher. Andrews, for me, I think can do a little bit of both, and I think he's the more superior pass catcher. So I think I would take Mark Andrews personally. Gesicki is so intriguing because I think the upside on that dude, after watching him really start to tap into all of his talents in 2020, I think the upside on him is through the roof. And he could have a monster year. I think he could really ascend into that second tier of tight end category where you're like, hey, he ain't Kelsey or Kittle, or Waller or none of those guys. But right under them, the Hunter Henrys and all of those guys that we like to name after those first 3 tight ends, he could be in that discussion. So we'll see what happens with those, with Mike Gesicki in particular, but Mark Andrews would be the guy that I would replace TJ Hawkinson with. Andrews, for me, is a good enough blocker and a much better pass catcher than Hawkinson. And what Andrews has done in that Baltimore Ravens offense, he's been essentially Lamar Jackson's security blanket, his safety blanket. So I would go with Andrews if you extended it out to 25. I told you, I'm not touching Mekhi Becton at left tackle. Sorry, not sorry. However, if we extended it out to 25, Orlando Brown Jr. is now available to be in this discussion as one of the 2 tackles. He was a right tackle before. Now, the reason he's out of Baltimore and in Kansas City is because he said, I'm not a right tackle. I'm a left tackle. Okay, I hear you loud and clear, but he did play right tackle. And if I'm making up this list and his team, he'd be my right tackle probably over Tristan Wirfs. Now, that said, Wirfs was really good last year. Really, really good. Almost to the point where I'm like, I don't know if I take him off the list or not. I don't know if I take him off the list. One of these guards has to go. For me, it'd be Mike Onwenu. Okay? Mike Onwenu would be gone quickly, quick, fast, and in a hurry. Why? Because if you extend this out to 25, now Quentin Nelson is eligible for the list, and Q-Dog is definitely on this list. I'd go with Damian Lewis and Quentin Nelson as my two guards. And then center, if you extend it out to 25, Eric McCoy right now is in the lead. But if you extend it out to 25, then you allow Frank Ragnow, who just got an extension from the Detroit Lions for good reason because he's dominant, would then come into the discussion. I think he would replace Eric McCoy on this list of best players 25 years or younger in the league offensively. So I think that's when things get interesting, is if you add 25 into the mix. But when you take it out, I think they pretty much got this list correct. I think the biggest question mark, though, with what they've done is running back. I don't agree with their running back position. Joe Mixon, Saquon Barkley have to be on this list, I believe. Or if at minimum Saquon Barkley does. You want to leave Joe Mixon off, sure, knock yourself out. I wouldn't advise you to do that. But, and I think you could have a debate. There could be a healthy discussion about quarterback because Murray, Burrow, and Herbert are all under 25 years old. And so I could see someone saying long term, in the short term, give me Lamar Jackson, but long term, I'm starting a team. I got to take one of these quarterbacks. Give me Justin Herbert, or give me Kyler Murray, or give me Joe Burrow. I could see somebody saying that over Lamar Jackson. So I think that this is a really cool list that they came up with. I don't agree with all of it, but that's why they come up with these lists, to create conversation. I love these types of lists because everyone's got their own opinions. I have mine, you have yours. You guys are arguing left and right in the comment section. I love it. And that's how it should be. But if this thing were extended out to 25, that's when it would get really, really interesting. What says you out there? You guys are out there really going at it. What says you out there? Leave it in the comment section of this video. I'd love to read your comments.
LouieTeeNetwork.